Okay. I really wasn't expecting it to just cut out like that. I thought I had like a minute or two left, but okay. Sure, man. You're the game. Hey guys, hey, it's me, it's Tech Turncoat. How you guys doing? In a slightly different sound environment. It's a little hard to maintain. Um, so if I sound one way and then later throughout the recording sound a completely different way, or at least slightly different way, it's because I got tired of doing this other thing, and have now cast that aside for my slightly easier to maintain way to do it. But that is beside the point. We are in for another episode of Catch Up on Witch of the Holy Night. For those who don't know, we are technically done with all of the main story stuff, but for some reason, there's like a bunch of extra stuff in between the I guess important stuff that we just somehow didn't see. It's these guys and some other ones over here, and like these guys. It's very strange how we didn't get to see. I thought we did see all of it. The honey adventure. Anyway, so we're just gonna finish off the rest of. I was just here. We're just gonna finish off the rest of the 7 days of spinning, and we'll see what Martha, I guess, has in store for us. And if we have enough time, we'll see. We'll see what's up with whiteboard. I don't want to start the Carnegie case on this recording because I feel like that's going to be its own big thing. But yeah, the 7 days of spinning. The volume 3 was their hunt, and then yep. Okay, so let's see if I can just continue on. No, I can't. Because if I remember right, this is it's the prologue. I wonder if I can. No. I think I finished it off. Okay. That's fine too. Stuff I should have figured out earlier, but whatever. Here and here and here. Okay. Aye. What the hell? All right. Some bullshit going on. Hopefully it didn't pick up. That. Can I turn off my... There it is. Jesus Christ. Anyway. Let us rewind to a moment in the recent past. The scene took place on a Saturday morning in early December. With third period over just before lunch, the only activity that remained before the scholastic day ended was homeroom. Two of Class C students, Soujyuro Suzuki and Hosuke Kinomi, were standing outside on the balcony overlooking the schoolyard. They were stuck waiting for their homeroom teacher, Mr. Kazuki Yamashiro, and could not leave until he arrived. The rest of their class... The rest of their classmates were chatting idly in the class. I didn't know that was his name. It sounds like the name of Kuzuki's the teacher Kuzuki killed to get his teaching job, but that was over in a completely different city. The rest of the classmates are chatting in like talking forever ago. The rest of the classmates are chatting idly in their classroom. Class A's Tobimaru Tsukichi was killing time alongside them. The listless trio discussed their weekend plans as they leaned on veranda's railing. You working at the bear this weekend, Kinomi? Like hell I am. Who the hell works till Sunday? I'm going out tomorrow with some chicks from Class B. At least that was the plan. They say they're grounded or something. So in other words, he struck out again. Jeez, good man when he's down much, Suzuki? Please, even the most airheaded chicks know better than to accept an invite from your dumbass. Crash and burn all you like, but don't drag Sono-G into the fallout, will ya? Well, excuse me, your majesty, you're one to talk. Word to the wise, Suzuki. Tsukiji's heart is as black as they come. In his mind, he's like, you know those labels you use to separate the trash? This dude uses them to label people. You're either useful to him, or you ain't. Yeah, I got that. Speaking of which, I know this is a bit out of the blue, but what do you think about Kinomi, Tobimaru? Well, you know how this country is going to stop collecting oversized scrap for free soon because it costs too much to dispose of? That's because of people like him. Oh, what kind of nonsense is that? Who throws out big stuff like cabinets when you can make good money off of them? The future's grab and go, you know. Just look at those rad disposable cameras you can buy at convenience stores are. Looks like the times have finally caught up with my idea of consumer culture. So Konomi's working this weekend. What about you, tomorrow? My time's coming. Just watch. There's some business to attend to on my end. I'll be entertaining a guest of my father's, giving a tour of the city, stuff like that. Friggin' rude. Don't interrupt a guy when he's talking. I was gonna say I'm gonna be watching my kid sister. Ain't helping out at that crappy Chinese restaurant. What about you, Sono-G? You working tomorrow? No plans. But I am gonna work at the amusement park after school today. What? Magic Kitsy Land? Seriously? You're tougher than you look, Suzuki. I heard even the judo guys who worked there bailed. It can't possibly be much worse than carrying boxes for X-Fen, right?
いや、そこまではよく。
Well, yeah, okay, maybe not that bad.
しかし、山城の野郎おっせえな。見ろ、隣の B 組すらお帰りになられてるぞ。
Damn, that a-hole Yamashiro is taking a sweet time. Look, Class B's already leaving.
だな、仕方ねえ。面倒だが呼んでくるか。Sono-Gを遅刻させるわけにはいかねえし。
Looks like it. You know, I didn't want to pull this card, but we'll just have to call him. Can't let Sono-G be late for work. And, as if by design, the moment Tobimaro Tsukichi stood up wearily from the balcony railing, the school's PA system chime rang.
2年 C 組の静木宗十郎くん、山城先生がお呼びです。至急職員室まで来てください。繰り返します。2年 C 組の
Soujyuro Suzuki, Class 2C, please report immediately to Mr. Yamashiro in the faculty room. I repeat, Soujyuro Suzuki, Class 2C. An awkward silence fell upon the three. After a long 5 seconds, Soujyuro said goodbye and headed back inside.
面白いことねえな。誰か校庭にミステリーサークルとか作ってくんねえかな。
Ugh, nothing interesting ever happens here. Can't someone make a crop circle in the schoolyard or something? Kinobi grumbled, slouching his shoulders and succumbing to his lethargy.
他人の妄想力に期待すんなよ。刺激が欲しいならてめえでイベントを起こす。ほら、クラス分け発表の時よろしく。青崎に突っかかればすぐだぜ。
Stop expecting others to make life interesting. If you're bored, then make something happen yourself. Challenge Ozaki to an interclass debate or something.
よみがえるトラウマ、やだよ。会長の大立ち回りは面白いのを通り越して恐ろしいよ。善良な一男子生徒としちゃ美少女が転校してくるだけでいいんだよ。
Suffering ain't interesting. Scrapping with the press is asking for it. I said interesting, not terrifying. As a decent, upstanding, red-blooded male, I'd happily settle for a hot transfer student showing up.
まあ普通の子じゃつまんないからハリウッドのプロデューサーとかイギリスの歌姫とか。
Long as she ain't boring anyway. Maybe she were a Hollywood producer or some famous English singer.
どんなくくりだそりゃ。そこは火星のお姫様あたりにしとけよ。
Lame. If you're going that far, at least make her a babe from Mars.
それと2年 C 組の皆さんへ山城先生から伝言です。
Attention, Class 2C. This is an announcement from Mr. Yamashiro.
山城先生は訳あってホームルームを欠席しますので、各自勝手に下校しちゃってくださいね。それではでは。
Mr. Yamashiro is currently occupied and unable to attend homeroom. Please make your way home.
以上、放送室からお知らせしました。
This concludes all announcements for the day.
どうよこれ。山城新車買ってからフリーダムすぎね。このままではあの真新しいセルビアに俺のギザ銃がうなりかねん。
Well, ever since Yamashiro bought that new car, he's been a real punk. Maybe I'll see what sound this dime makes against the door of his new Serbia.
鍵穴にガム程度にしとけ。教師の発給はマジ同情に値するからな。
Hold it, hotshot. Just put gum in the keyhole. Teachers get paid peanuts, man. The two frenemies returned to the classroom, complaining all the while. Their concern for their mutual friend summoned to the faculty office completely out of mind.
納得いきません。生徒のアルバイトは認められています。
I don't agree. The school allows for students to hold part-time jobs.
学校公認の職場であるなら、社会経験の一環として推奨すると校則にもありますが。
According to school regulations, a job at a workplace authorized by the school is recommended as a social experience.
そうなんだけどね。彼の場合、やりすぎなのが問題なわけで。
That is true, but in this place, it's a matter of going too far.
仮にもし認可していない労働基準法に反してそうなところで働いてたら困るでしょ。うちも彼も。
What if, let's suppose, he were working somewhere without permission, somewhere That might be violating the labor standards law. That would spell trouble for both the school and for him. The volatile tension between the ruthless student council president and the easygoing modern language teacher permeated the room. Praying to be spared from the impending confrontation, the other teachers hurriedly relocated to the meeting room. By the time Mr. Yamashiro noted this, the only other person in the room was the student council president, Aoko Ozaki.
逃げたか。ひどいな、みんな。怖いのは僕に押し付けてばっかりだもんな。
They all ran, huh? Why does everyone always push the scary jobs on me? They're so mean.
話の続きです、先生。
Please don't change the subject, sir.
仮に彼が指定以外のアルバイトをしているとしたら、それは彼の要求に学校側が応えていないからではありませんか？
If we do suppose that he is working in an unauthorized workspace, does that mean the school isn't accommodating to his needs?
下宿先の家賃を奨学金で賄えとは言いませんが、時間の許す限り働きたいという要望は考慮すべきです。
I'm not saying that the school needs to cover his room and board, but as long as he's not working too much, his request deserves due consideration.
指定外のアルバイトを疑うのなら、まず働き先は1生徒につき1件だけという規則を改めてください。
And if you're still concerned about unauthorized workplaces, please first revise the rule that limits each student to only one. After hearing her out and realizing there was no way she would back down, Mr. Yamashiro hung his head. This was supposed to be easy. The plan was to call in the student rumored to be working multiple jobs, confirm whether the rumor was true, and if so, give him a warning and some guidance, then head to lunch with the knowledge that all was right in the world. The student council president, who was coincidentally in the faculty room at the time, had heard the entire issue and decided to call out this injustice. As far as Mr. Yamashiro was concerned, she was in the right, and he was well aware of the aforementioned student situation. Personally, he would have liked to, but among the faculty, he was just the new kid on the block. He wanted to stay on the vice principal's good side and at the very least not lose his job as badly paid as it was.
こればかりはね。副教頭先生直々の注意なんで、僕も助けてあげられないんだよ。
Look, this is a warning straight from the vice principal. I can't do anything more to help.
それでしたら、落としどころがあればいいんですね。
What if we compromised? What do you mean? The student council president removed a document from her bag. It was a document that had been brought up in the morning's faculty meetings, bringing a host of headaches with it.
青崎くん、それは。
Miss Ozaki, that's not the...
はい。間協会のボランティア参加の申告書です。
Yes, this is the Ida Church's volunteer registration form.
今月も希望者ゼロですね。敬虔なクリスチャンである副教頭先生は、さぞお気を悪くしているかと。
There were 0 applicants again this month, a fact that would certainly bother a devout Christian like the vice principal.
我が校の生徒には新人が足りんと、今朝も嘆かれていたとか？
Even this morning, he was lamenting our students' lack of faith.
そうだけど、どうして君が今朝の職員会議の内容を知っているか聞きたいよ、本当。
I can't deny that, but what I'd really like to know is how you became so well informed of the content of this morning's faculty meeting. Mr. Yamashiro scratched his head, but his eyes were smiling gleefully. He'd figured out the student council president's objective.
魚心あれば水心ありですか。
So, I'll scratch your back, you'll scratch mine, is that it?
教会への奉仕活動はボランティアだけど、きちんと謝礼が出る。あれも形の上では学校側が推奨する社会見学だからね。
Work conducted on the church's behalf is done on a voluntary basis, but still compensated in some form, and it's officially recognized by the school as a form of social study.
副教頭先生は参加者が出たことに喜び、加えて
The vice principal would be overjoyed to have some participant and
その参加希望者がすでに他のアルバイトについていた場合、学校側の認可が2つになっちゃいますね。
and in the event that said volunteer is already employed somewhere else, the school's permission will be extended to both.
前例にしてはいい落としどころだと思いますが。
Considering the precedent, I find this to be a good compromise. Mr. Yamashiro raised his hands in surrender. There were few students able to both raise a complaint and propose a proper solution. Perhaps it was her big sisterly disposition that made this girl so simultaneously feared, yet trusted.
よし、その方向で攻めてみよう。うまくいくよう祈ってくれよ。
All right, let's try it your way. Just say a prayer for me, okay?
他力本願は嫌いです。悪巧みに乗ってくれるのならきちんと活躍してください、山城先生。
I don't like it when people are overly reliant on others. If you're going to participate in this scheme, please take your part seriously, Mr. Yamashiro. With a bow, the student council president turned to leave the faculty room.
ああ、待った待った。君も残るんだ。
Hold a second. You're not going anywhere.
今からしずきくんを呼ぶから、ちゃんと面倒を見てもらわないと。
I'm going to go ahead and call in Suzuki now, so you'll need to stay and look after him properly. I'll need you to stay and look after him properly. What? The girl's cool eyes narrowed. Unable to process what she had just heard, her expression turned to a scowl.
いや、参加希望者は一人より二人の方がいいだろう。
If we're looking for volunteers, 2 is better than 1, right?
青崎くんがフォローしてくれるなら、僕も安心だしね。
Plus, knowing that you're following up on this would give me great peace of mind.
ちょっと先生。
But, sir, I don't...
ああ、放送室。2年 C 組のしずき宗十郎くん、至急職員室に来てください。で、
Oh, so this is a little bit
お
in the
願いし
past.
ます。
Hello, broadcasting room? Please put out an announcement asking for Class 2C student Soujyuro Suzuki to report to Mr. Yamashiro in the staff room immediately.
だから先生。
No, like I was about to say...
いやー、これで万全だ。まさか頭痛の種が同時に消え去るなんて、今日はついてる。
Ooh, this is perfect. And to think that the source of my headaches would go away too. Today's my lucky day.
ああ、けど、青崎くん、ずいぶん親身になってくれるんだね。何？もしかして、ああいうのがタイプ？あ、放送室さん、ついでに生徒会長が心からお待ちしていますと、付け足して。
Miss Azaki, what would I do without your kindness? Wait a second. He's not your type, is he? Oh, broadcasting room, please add the following. The student council president is eagerly awaiting...
山城
Mr. Yamashiro! Stuck at a rat nest of an old room. The next day, a pleasant Sunday. Soujyuro was awake 2 hours before the time he was supposed to meet her. After getting up, he decided to go for a leisurely jog to clear his mind. But, lost among his own thoughts, his 30-minute jog turned into almost an hour upon realizing he rushed home. After thoroughly racking his brain over what to wear for the occasion, he decided upon wearing his school uniform.
午前10時、三崎中央公園の東入り口で待ち合わせ。
10 o'clock, Misaki Central Park East entrance. I'll meet you there. Yesterday in the faculty room, when Aoko Azaki had shared the time and place with him that day, she said it with such pain on her face, maybe she was fighting a headache at the time.
しかし、青崎の風邪は治っているのだろうか。
I hope Azaki's feeling better. Soujyuro muttered his words of concern, misguided as they were. In any case, he waited for about 5 minutes. At precisely 10 o'clock, the student council president appeared.
おはよう。いつものことだけど、時間だけはぴったりよね、あなた。
Good morning. Punctual as usual, I see.
ひどい顔ね。もしかして気分悪いの？
What's with your face? Are you sick?
いや、体調はいいと思う。
No, I think I feel fine. Waved off her
だ
concern.
がしかし、青崎は制服だった。
You are wearing your school uniform.
ええ、学校の行事だもの。当然でしょ？
Of course I'm wearing my uniform. This is a school activity, isn't it? A heavy weight of despondency fell upon Soujyuro's shoulders. The angsting over his outfit for the previous 2 hours had been rendered meaningless just like that. This is when he's still wearing his bandages, which is interesting. I don't think we ever got an answer about what's up with that. The duo, clad in their school uniforms on a day off, walked by the train station. In the beginning, Aoko had made efforts to give Soujyuro a thorough lay of the land, but today she only shared the bare minimum of explanations. This was partly because, surprisingly, Soujyuro had become well accustomed to the town. Which restaurants were good, which shortcuts to use in a rush, and why the nearby bicycle shop was better than a department store by the station if you wanted to buy a bike. Things a local would know, actually. The other reason was that it had dawned on Aoko how the two of them conversing when looked to passerby.
話は変わるけど、具体的にどんな労働内容なのか、そろそろ聞いていいかな。
On a different topic, do you mind telling me what kind of work we'll be doing today, exactly? From here on, volunteering at the church meant that the school would tolerate his multiple jobs. Soujyuro had quickly agreed to the tempting offer, nodding like a bobblehead, but, as was typical of him, he'd failed to consider the content of the proposal.
まあそんなことだろうと覚悟はしてたけど。
Somehow I just knew you had no idea what you'd be doing today.
あなた、間教会は初めて？
Is this your first time going to Ada Church?
教会なら2回目だ。珍しい建物なんで近寄ったら、中の人がタダでお菓子をくれたんだけど。
This is my second time, actually. The last time was because I was outside admiring the interesting architecture, and then a person inside gave me some free candy. He pondered with all sincerity how exactly a church worked. His contemplative posture made him appear the part of the philosopher, but after all his thinking, he concluded, I guess they start taking your money on the second visit? Such was the extent of Soujyuro's concerns.
普通そういうことは子供にしかしないんだけどね、あの教会は。
You know, the church only gives candy to kids. Aoko sighed at the lost little lamb.
で、どんな人に会ったの？神父？それともシスター？
It's always endlessly funny to me that the Japanese for priest is like shin. So, who'd you end up meeting? The priest? One of the sisters?
それは綺麗な女の人だった。
A very beautiful woman, as it happens.
じゃあゆいかさんの方ね。今日会ったらお礼をって必要ないか。あんたのことだからそのあたりはきちっとしてるだろうし。
Oh, Sister Yuka then. If we see her today, you'll need to thank her. Or, then again, probably no need. You're doing just fine in that department anyway. Well,
仕事の話なら簡単よ。学校でやってることと変わらないから。
as far as work goes, it's not much different from what you've been doing at school, so it should be straightforward.
あの教会、規模の割に人数が少ないのよ。
And considering the church's size, there's actually not a lot of people. Aoko picked up her pace as they headed for the church. Somehow, she seemed like a general invading enemy territory. It made Soujyuro furrow his brows in discomfort. Har har. Ida Church had a long history. Far from the station, it was a white-painted sanctuary nestled between the business and residential districts. As far as Aoko could remember, the church, as she knew it now, was the result of remodeling done 8 years prior. It was practically a cathedral for a town of this size. Incidentally, located next to it was the Misaki City General Hospital. From Aoko's perspective, it seemed awfully suspicious for the church to take up residence next to the location in the city where the most lives were lost, although the only two who were aware of this opinion were her roommate, Alice Kwanji, and the priest.
青崎はこの教会に縁があるのか？
Are you a regular here?
私はこれっぽっちも。もう過去に戻って改ざんしたいぐらい微塵もないけど。うちの父と祖父は長い付き合い。
Me? Not in the slightest. My father and my grandfather had a long-standing history with it, but if I could go back in time, but if I could, I'd go back in time and cut all of our ties to this place.
ここの手伝いなんて、忌々しいことに小学生の頃は毎日してたもんだけど。
I had to come here every day in elementary school to help out, and boy did that ever rub me the wrong way. The more Aoko spoke, the more twisted her expression became. Recalling, this made her want to grab it by the proverbial collar, give it the proverbial one-armed judo back throw, smash its proverbial head into the proverbial ground, and kick the proverbial living daylights out of the defenseless proverbial torso. Such was her so-called trauma that if it were anthropomorphized, it would take more than a 5-round beating to satisfy her thirst for vengeance. Uh, it was in this moment he became aware of Aoko's mood that Soujyuro began to fear for his safety. Perhaps attracted by the noisy murder of crows outside the church, a woman in a nun's habit emerged from the front entrance.
失礼ですが、どちらのお客様でしょう?
Excuse me, do you have business with the church today?
当教会は暴力団関係の方はご遠慮いただいておりますので、日を改める、あるいは生き方を悔い改めた後、社会的な罪を償ってから門をくぐっていただきたいのですが。
I'm gonna take a drink of water and maybe change the sound structure a little bit here. And there goes all my water. I'm gonna leave the extra deadening, non-echoing. I'm gonna leave that off for a little bit. Because it is hard to maintain. I'm afraid the church does not associate with criminals, so if you would be so kind as to consider turning the other way, consider coming another day, or perhaps return once you have repented your sinful ways and paid your crimes to society, you can...
Aoko desu, Sister Yuika.
It's Aoko Aozaki, Sister Yuika.
Aoko-san deshita ka.
Well, if it isn't Aoko.
驚きました。昼間のうちにあなたが来るのは久しぶりです。
Isn't this a lovely surprise? It's been such a long time since you visited.
そうですね。いつもは夜に呼ばれて、神父様とだけお話をしていますから、ユイカさんとは。
I suppose it has. I'm only ever called at night to speak with the father.
まあ、意外ですね。1年近くまともにお話をしていません。
I suppose it's been what? Close to a year since we've had a face-to-face conversation?
ま、この先だって一度もないでしょうけど。
And who knows how long it'll be until the next time.
ええ。あなたも随分と立派になられたようで。
He's doing that stupid little smile he does.
何より、今の気配は清らかな少女とは思えないほど悪辣でした。
Yes, I'm almost sad to see you growing up so fast. Your presence has become so menacing. You hardly resemble the virtuous girl I remember so well. On the surface, the two exchange congenial greetings. That's what you can call that. Unable to read between the lines, all Soujyuro could see were two good friends.
今月のボランティアは私とそこの彼です。
He and I are this month's volunteers.
親愛なる間協会のためですから。10時から3時まで1分の狂いもなくきっかり働かせていただきますわ。
For the beloved Haida Church, it would be our pleasure to be working for exactly 10 to 3 and not a minute more.
まあ、世も末ですが歓迎しますね。
Well, as you know, we are reaching the end times, but your spirit of service is welcome.
神の家は万人に等しく開くもの。この際、あなたの内面は見なかったことにしておきましょう。
The house of the Lord is open to all who may enter, even if those with wickedness in their heart. The nun flashed a smile that was equal parts elegant and cruel. Keeping up appearances aside, she seemed overjoyed to have been able to have able hands to put to work. The sister introduced herself as Yuika Susei and thanked Soujyuro, who had volunteered of his own volition. Soujyuro noticed that her eyes were always shut, but not wanting to be rude, especially in front of Aoko, decided not to pry.
しずきさんとおっしゃるのですね。
So, you're Mr. Suzuki.
声のイメージ通り、落ち着いたお名前です。
Your name is as calm as your countenance.
それはどうも。
It is? Well, thanks. This is very interesting because straightens up a little bit. Later on, he would go on to meet her again, and she wouldn't even notice him at all. her and her malice-sensing ways didn't seem to see him then. But she can see him now, I guess. Interesting. It is? Well, thanks. The sister let slip a frown at Sojuro's ambivalent response to her compliment.
失礼。名字で呼ばれるのはお嫌いのようですね。
I apologize. I did not mean to cause discomfort by using your surname.
宗十郎さんでよろしいですか？
May I call you Soujyuro instead?
いや、どっちでもいいですけど。
Whichever. Either is fine, I guess.
ではそのように。本当、難儀なことですね。
Well then, as you wish. I had not anticipated how difficult the subject it would be. Though the sister's tone was gentle, her words seemed somewhat indifferent. She lacked sight, but she guided the two with certainty in her step.
それで、奉仕の内容ですが。
Well then, as for what you will be doing.
分かってます。クリスマス前だし、面倒な掃除を済ませておきたいんでしょ？
I already know. Christmas is coming up, so you want to get all of the tedious cleaning out of the way, right?
問題ありません。そういうの得意ですから。
That won't be a problem. Cleaning is our strong suit. It wasn't, quote-unquote, their strong suit as much as it was Sojuro's.
では、青子さんはかまどの方で聖兵の作り置きを。
Then, Aoko, you will be at the stove preparing the communion wafers.
しずきさんは外に。私どもでは手の届かない箇所の清掃をお願いします。
Mr. Suzuki, you will be outside. I will need your help cleaning the areas I cannot reach.
ちょっと待って。台所にリツカのやついないでしょうね。こんなところであんなのに会うなんてごめんだから。
One question. Ritsuka isn't in the kitchen, is she? You can't make me go in there if she is.
リツカは留守です。ですので、どうぞ気兼ねなく。
Don't worry. Ritsuka's not here right now. There's no need to hold back on her account. With a dismissive wave, Aoko headed towards the door in the back of the worship hall. As she had indicated, she was quite accustomed to the church.
しずきさんはこちらに。
This way, please, Mr. Suzuki.
まずは物置から清掃道具を運んでいただきます。
We will start with the storeroom. I'd like to ask you to carry the cleaning supplies. Righto. The work entrusted to Soujyuro did not require any particular skill. It was window cleaning at its most standards.
窓を全部拭けばいいんですね。
Should I clean all the windows?
水拭きと空拭き。その後にコートスプレーもお願いします。はしごの高さは足りますか？
Yes. Start with the wet rag, then wipe with the dry rag, then use the cleaning spray. Is the ladder tall enough?
あれ、ちょっと足りないっぽいですね。
Oh, you know what? It actually might be a little short.
では届く範囲で結構ですので、よろしくお願いします。
Then just claim what you can reach. Thank you very much. After the brief exchange, the sister returned to the church. Soujyuro began to wonder if it was out of distrust in him that she was being so curt. He understood that it was too soon to glean an answer from their first meeting, but again, such answers always eluded Soujyuro. Left alone, but no less encouraged, Soujyuro began cleaning the windows. The day's weather was a disappointment once again. It had not gone so far as to rain, but was too overcast to enjoy the sun. He leaned against the tall ladder and, beginning with a window about 5 yards from the ground, quietly cleaned. Soujyuro was never the kind of person to mind physical labor. In fact, if there had been a blue sky, this might have been the perfect day off for him. By the time he had finished his third or fourth window, he felt very relaxed and began to whistle. Whistle, baby, whistle, baby. Although 15 feet was an intimidating height, it provided a wonderful view at the same time. Turning toward the town gave Soujyuro a clear view of the tree-toppled hill that had previously caught his eye. Tree-topped hill,
やっ
whatever.
ぱり林の中に家があるような。
So there really is a house in the woods. Oh, hey. It's his future house. The hill in the woods just outside of town. From here, the forest overlooking the sleepless city looked like a foreign castle.
あれ何何泥棒さん
Well, well, do we have a burglar? Huh? Just then... Lost in his thoughts while wiping windows, Soujyuro was pulled out of his trance by someone pacing below him. He looked down and saw a girl, her unkempt clothes otherwise contrasting with her kind visage.
うんでもちょっと怪盗には似合わないのんびり屋さん風にどっちかっていうとあれかしら暖炉から現れては微妙にいらないおもちゃを押し付けるセイントみたいな
But you look a little too loosey-goosey to be a thief. Wait, I know. Maybe you're the type that jumps out of people's fireplaces and gives them toys they don't need, like that one saying.
うわー私あのヒゲ苦手なのよねだってどう見ても不法侵入者じゃないあの人
Oh, but I just can't stand his beard. You know all the guy is doing is breaking and entering, right? She looked to be in her late 20s. Despite the cold, she wasn't wearing a coat. She had no purse either, which was rather strange as a woman with a purse was never far apart. Not that Soujyuro knew this truth quite yet. Based on the fact that none of this seemed to apply to her, one could have easily surmised that she herself was a little loosey-goosey. A few cards short of a full deck, one might also say.
あ私ピンときたわ
Oh, I got it.
君ミサコのバイトの子偉いわ今時の高校生は業者さん顔負けなのね
Are you that part-timer from Misaki High? Wow, high schoolers these days really are something. You put the pros to shame. The girl looked up in admiration to Soujyuro as he stood atop his ladder.
よーし私も手伝っちゃおうかな
Cool, let me help.
はしごはまだある他の雑巾はどうせだからホースで水をかけるのはどうかしらこうバーッとケルヒョーとか叫びながら罰当たりだけどそれなら少しぐらいは楽しくなりそうじゃない
Is there another ladder? And rags? Since we're doing this anyway, why don't we use the hose? You know, spray water all over the place, yelling and having a great time. We might get in trouble, but a little fun never hurt anybody, right? The girl let out a hearty laugh. Her smile glowed like a cactus that had sprouted legs and begun to run about. Interesting metaphor. Insomuch as a running cactus could only cause trouble. As Soujyuro anticipated, the girl began to clean without waiting for his approval.
いえ教会の前を通ったら人影っぽいのが窓にへばりついてるのが見えちゃったの昼間っから泥棒とか豪快だなーってちょっと興味惹かれちゃって
So I was walking by the church and I saw a figure stuck to the window. Daylight burglary seems pretty bold, I thought. But my curiosity got the better of me.
そしたら可愛い子が真面目に労働してたわけ窓拭きの達人みたいにビッとかっこよくそんなの見せられたら手伝いたくなるのが人情じゃない
Imagine my surprise when I saw such a cute boy working as diligently as a window wiping expert. You can't blame a girl for wanting to help out after saying that, can you? This scene reminds me of like a really stupid video that I saw from like an old B movie. I don't even really know what the fuck it is. There was a guy chasing like a nun or something, or like someone dressed up as a nun. They were pretending to like wash a window or something. He almost runs by her and he's like, wait a second. Nuns don't work on Sundays, and then like one of them pulls out a gun or something. It was so crazy. It was so fucking stupid. But it reminded me of that for a second. It was really weird. Wiping the window next to Soujyuro, the girl continued to chatter cheerfully. Although this was all kinds of suspicious, Soujyuro politely followed her lead, nodding and agreeing as she spoke. as he does. Perhaps it was an instinctive camaraderie. He sensed this girl was just like him, always getting the short end of the stick when it came to menial work.
あなたは教会の人なんですか？
So, are you from the church?
私いえ、ただの通りすがりよ。
Me? No, I was just passing by.
それより、あなたってのは他人行儀ね。君とは商店街で何度も会ってるのに。
More importantly, why are you acting like we've never met before? Don't you remember all those times we met in the shopping mall?
いや、会ってませんよ。
No. When did that happen?
会ってます。君、魚達さんでバイトしてる子でしょ？今週だけでも何度か行ってるもん、私。
All the time, silly. You work at the restaurant, I told myself I was gonna get that right the first time. You work at the restaurant Uatatsu, right? I was there several times just this week.
私は、そうね。花沢って言うんだけど、君の名前は？
I am a... Oh, yeah. I'm Hanazawa. What's your name? Hanazawa took a quick glance at the flower bed below in the middle of her introduction, then gave him a friendly laugh. Sojuro's self-introduction, however, was his usual brand of awkward.
宗十郎さん。いい名前ね。古風な感じで。
Soujyuro, huh? Your name's cute, in an old-fashioned kind of way.
名前に数字が入ってると、なんか日本人って感じがしない？
Does it?
ここの神父さんとかシスターの名前知ってる？エイリとかユイカとか、なんか外国風なんだけど。
Ju in your name means 10, right? Names with numbers in them are so Japanese, don't you think? Do you know the priest and sisters here? Eri and Yuka? Their names sound so foreign.
エイリさんはともかく、ユイカさんは綺麗な黒髪の女の人でしたよ。
I don't know Eri, but Yurika was the woman with pretty dark hair, right?
あら、神父さんにはまだ会っていないのね。
Oh, so you haven't met the priest yet?
愛田教会の美形神父と美人姉妹って言ったら有名なんだけど。あ、そうか。さては君、最近引っ越してきたんでしょう。しかも一人暮らしと見たわ。
Ida Church is famous for its handsome priest and beautiful sisters, you know. Oh, that's right. You just moved here. You're living on your own, right?
そうですけど、花沢さんすごいですね。さっきからあまりにも的確な当てずっぽうです。
Yeah. You're really sharp, Miss Hanazawa. You seem to be pretty good at guessing things about me.
いえいえ、推理と言ってくれたまえ。
It's called deductive reasoning, silly.
君ぐらいの子がアルバイトに精を出すほど、この町の娯楽は魅力的じゃないもの。遊ぶお金ならバイト一件で賄えちゃうわ。君は物欲のあるタイプじゃなさそうだし。
This town doesn't have much to do for fun. Certainly not enough that a kid like you would need to work this much. Normally you just need one job to cover spending money. You don't seem the materialistic type either.
となると、これはもう生活費のためと考えるのが健全でしょ？
Which leaves living expenses as the one wholesome reason for working this hard, right?
まあ学生さんが生活費も学費も自分だけで賄うなんてのは健全じゃないんだけど。
Then again, it is very wholesome for a student to be paying for his own room, board, and tuition.
いや、そうでもないですよ。働かざる者、食うべからずです。
Not necessarily. Don't they say he who does not work doesn't eat?
そっか。宗十郎さんは若いのに立派ね。私も学生の頃はバイト三昧だったから、少しは君の大変さもわかるわよ。
Ah, Soujyuro, you're so mature for your age. When I was a student, I was completely absorbed in work too, so I understand how difficult things must be for you.
なんと、花沢さんも一人暮らしだったんですか？
Oh, you live by yourself as well, Miss Hanazawa?
ええ。親の反対を押し切って、よその国に留学しちゃったの。あっちには友達もいたから下宿先には困らなかったけど、さすがに食費ぐらいは稼がないとね。
Yeah, I studied abroad over my parents' objections. I went to the same school as a friend and we roomed together to save money, but food wasn't free, as you know.
けどまあ、 こう見えて肉体労働は苦にならないタイプだし、学院もバイトも楽しい思い出になってるわ。
That said, I'm the kind of person who doesn't mind a bit of elbow grease. Looking back on it now, my time at school and work was a great memory. Soujyuro nodded agreeably. Dignified or not, he could barely hold back the sense of solidarity that was welling up within him.
これも何かの縁だし、魚達さんではこれからお世話になりそうだし、頼りないだろうけど、相談事があったらぜひ言ってね。精神面で力になるわ。
Well, since this might be fate, and I'll probably be seeing more of you at Uotatsu from here on out, come see me if you need someone to talk to. I can't promise I'll be of much help, but I'll do my best impression of a sounding board.
ありがとうございます。
Thank you. I appreciate it.
じゃあ早速ですけど、ここは何をするところなんでしょう？
Maybe you can help me out right now. What does they actually do here? As Soujyuro said here, he pointed at the church.
えっと
What do you mean? Sorry, I had to sneeze. Even Hanazawa was taken aback by his question. Unaware of Sojuro's provincial background, combined with her quick-witted nature, Hanazawa seemingly mistook his question for some kind of sophisticated wit.
そうね。
Good question.
心の安全を扱っているというのはどうかしら。いえ、安全というよりは鎧？継ぎはぎのバリケード？とにかく本人はちっとも鍛えられないってことは同じよね。
I guess people treat it as a spiritual sanctuary? Is that the right word for it? No, maybe not sanctuary, more like a shield, or a place that plugs leaks in your mind. It's basically a way for people to avoid getting better. Oh, interesting.
あとはパンとワインも分けてくれるわね。
Oh, and they give out free bread and wine.
無料でですか？
For free?
もちろん。止めるものは勝手に置いていくって話。
Sure. I mean, I've heard rich people just donate a bunch of money anyway.
あとはそっか、これが一番大きいんだけど、収入に税金がかからない。心の安全は扱いが難しいけど、きちんと売り物にできればノーリスクハイリターンよ。
Oh yeah! One more thing. This is the most important wrinkle. Their income isn't taxed. Saving souls is tough work, but it's zero risk, high reward if you got a solid business plan.
はあ、よくわからないですけど、ピンチの時はここに転がり込めばいいんですね。
That's so. I don't really follow, but are you saying that this isn't a good place to come when you're in trouble?
それはおすすめしないな。
I wouldn't recommend that.
ご利用は月に1回、気休め程度にした方がいいと思う。
I think it would be better to visit once a month or so, just for a little peace of mind. The rags squeaked as the two carefree souls continued to wipe down the windows. Whistling as they went, they shined up one window, then another, then another.
そうだ、もう一つあります。
Oh, yeah, one more question?
ここから見えるあの森、何ですか？
What are those woods way over there?
森？あの山の上にある森のこと？
Woods? On the mountain, you mean?
ですけど、あれは山じゃなくて丘と言うべきです。
Well, yeah, I guess, but that's really more a hill than a mountain. As someone raised in the countryside, Sojuro's pride would not allow for a mound of dirt to be called a mountain.
そう？あれはあれで結構登るのに体力使うんだけど。ま、そっちの方がよりらしいわね。
You think so? Any incline that takes energy to climb is a mountain in my book, but if you say so. It was as if a shadow had fell over her now, a till now sunny disposition. She was undoubtedly a beautiful woman, with very lovely features. But as Soujyuro looked at her in that moment, her smile melted away, and he saw how disturbed she was in this at the comment. And when it comes down to it,
あれは丘です。それとほら、ここから煙突みたいなの見えますけど、あれは
no,
何で
it's
すか？
no, it's definitely a hill. Oh, what about that thing that looks like a chimney? Soujyuro was not one to closely watch people's reaction and fuss over his speech.
あれは本物の煙突よ。
Looks like a chimney because it is a chimney.
あの森は全部私有地なんだけど、その中にでっかい洋館が建っているの。でも私有地だから地元の人間も入ったことはないんじゃないかしら。
That forest is all private property, and a huge mansion sits right in the middle of it. None of the locals really know anything about it because they're not allowed in there.
通称クオンジのお化け屋敷ってね。近所の皆さんは気味悪がってるし、あんまり近寄らない方がいいんじゃない？あんな小さな森なのに遭難したとか野犬が出るとか物騒な話には事欠かないから。
People call it the Huanji Haunted Mansion. The locals are spooked by it, so it's probably best that you keep your distance. For a tiny wooded area, there have been all kinds of freaky stories about the place. Weird accidents, wild dog sightings, you name it.
野犬って、都会にも野犬。
Wild dogs? You get wild dogs here in the city too?
たくさんいるわよ。この教会の裏手の空き地にだっているし、ここの神父さんは物好きだからパンとかあげちゃって、それでワンちゃんの巡回ルートになっちゃってるんでしょうけど。
Lots of them. There are even some in the empty lot behind the church. The priest here's a bit eccentric, and one time gave some of them some bread, and the pups made that area part of their patrol route.
とにかく君子危うきに近寄らずよ。あの森には入らないのが町のルールなの。
Anyway, don't go up there. You know what they say about idiots in high places. It's something of an unspoken rule around here to stay out. Interesting to say, because what I have heard about idiots in high places is that idiots like high places. Anyway.
そもそも私有地だし、入ったらおまわりさんを呼ばれちゃって、そのまま交番でお説教タイムなんてあんまり楽しくないでしょ。
Kill time. One thing, it's private property. If you trespass, someone's gonna call the cops, and then you're gonna have to spend the rest of the day getting grilled at the station. Doesn't sound like much fun, does it? Soujyuro nodded along to her story as he stared at the far-off chimney from his vantage point on the ladder. A teeny tiny part of him was curious about that hill because it reminded him of the woods where he grew up. But after reminding himself that it was none of his business, he returned to the window washing. Thanks to Hanazawa lending a hand, they were able to finish the job without a hitch. Between the two of them, they had accomplished a simple, very time-consuming task.
はい、ご苦労様でした。
Nice work!
あれだけ砂まみれだった窓が見違えたわね。
I hardly recognize these windows considering how filthy they were before.
どう？これから適当なサテンでお茶にしない？宗十郎さんの仕事っぷりに敬意を表して、私がおご。
Why don't we head to the cafe somewhere and get something to drink? I'll treat you as a reward for all your...
はい。何か言いました花沢さん。
Yeah, Miss Hanazawa? You were in the middle of saying some...
いや、ごめんなさい。休養を思い出しちゃった。
Oh, I'm sorry. I just remembered some urgent business I need to attend to.
花沢さんはここで失礼するのでした。チャオ。
She said more than just that. Miss Hanazawa's taking off. Catch you later. Ciao. By the time Soujyuro, who had started putting away the ladder, turned around, he was only able to catch a glimpse of the girl's figure dashing towards the street at lightning speed. It was just before 3 o'clock. More than 3 hours had passed since Hanazawa offered to help. Soujyuro watched the girl with many strange faces disappear. For someone who seemed to have been on an aimless walk, Hanazawa spent a good deal of time with him. Maybe helping Soujyuro out reminded her of something she needed to do.
しずきくん、そっちにいるの？
Suzuki, are you out here? The student council president popped her head out from the corner of the church.
あ、声かけてごめん。いいから作業に専念。
Don't mind me, you do your thing. The sight of Soujyuro putting away a ladder taller than himself seemed to have provoked an emotional response in Aoko. Then, in an instant, she rolled up her sleeves and began to approach him.
Oh.
Huh? This surprised him more than Aoko's sudden appearance. Ignoring Sojuro's bewilderment, Aoko promptly began issuing orders.
はしご、横に倒していいわよ。下の方は私が持つから、あなたは上の方をお願い。
Put the ladder on its side. I'll hold the bottom, so you take the top. She did all this so matter-of-factly that Soujyuro began lowering the ladder before he even had a chance to insist that he could do it by himself. With work finished and the sisters' thank you gifts in hand, the two put the church behind them. Since Aoko apparently had something to do around the station, they decided they would walk together until they got there.
でも、本当にアルバイト慣れしてるのね。
You're a really hard worker. Beneath the orange-tinted sky, Aoko spoke more as though she was expressing her thoughts out loud than striking up a conversation.
そうか。青崎から見てそうなら少しは嬉しいな。
Really? Coming from you, Azaki, that's nice, really nice to hear. Soujyuro gave her an earnest smile. But then again, he had been beaming ever since he received his pay, so the source of his joy was not so clear.
あのね、あなたは普段が問題ばっかりなんだから、あんまり調子に乗らないように。
はい。
差し引きゼロっていうか、まだまだマイナスなんだから。
Not so fast, Buster. You've still got a ways. No, you've still got a ways to go, Buster. So don't get too carried away. You're only just breaking even, if that.
うん。学校のことは言われると悲しくなる。
You're not gonna go get on my back about school, are you? Don't really spoil the mood. Soujyuro hung his head dejectedly. Even if his job had been going well, school was still a bust. Exams were one thing, but even classwork was something he'd found himself falling behind in.
青崎は成績悪いやつは嫌いか？
Why do you hate people with bad grades, Ozaki?
まあ、頭というか巡りの悪い人との話は疲れるでしょうね。でも、あなたはそれ以前だし、そもそも私にはこれっぽっちも関係ないし。
Well, dealing with lame brains is certainly tiring, but that's beside the point in your case. And don't let it get to your head. We're not friends, okay?
でっかいハンデを何とかするのは先生たちの仕事で、それに応えるのはあなたの役目。アルバイトもいいけど、帰ったらきちんと予習やっときなさいよ。
So the teacher's job is to figure out how to help students overcome handicaps, and it's your job to follow through on that help. Having a job is fine with me, but make sure you actually study properly when you get home.
それはもちろん。学校の人たちはみんないい人だ。
You can count on me. Everyone at the school is good people.
そう、ならいいけど、みんないい人？
Fine, if you say so. Wait, did you just say everyone is good people? Aoko cocked her head to one side, unsure of how this exchange had resulted in that response. She decided to interpret it as Soujyuro simply expressing his gratitude in his own particular way.
ところで、
Oh, one more thing.
参考までに聞くんだけど、あなた、他にどんなバイトしてるの？
I need to know what other kinds of jobs you're working. You know, in case it comes up.
どこって商店街が多い。魚のお店とか花の店とか。あ、でも昨日は隣町まで遠出したな。遊園地のアルバイト。
If you're asking where, I work at a lot of places in the shopping district. The fish shop, the flower shop, and so on. But yesterday I went over to the next town. Worked a shift at the amusement park. Since the only school-authorized locations were in Misaki Shopping District, his response was much as she expected. That is, except for the decidedly unexpected last part.
遊園地ってヤシロギの？
When you say amusement park, you don't mean the one in Yashirogi, do you?
そう。 使わなくなった看板とかオブジェとか解体して運び出したんだ。さすがに疲れたな、あれは。
Yeah, that's the one. I disassembled and moved unused signs and curios and stuff. It was exhausting.
へえ、それは体力勝負でしょうね。
That's so. Yeah, I can imagine it took a lot out of you. This left Aoko rather impressed. Transporting unused amusement park machinery was not a job that students did willingly in their free time.
でもいいな。私キッズイランドって一度も行ったことないの。三崎町に住んでるのに。
I'm a bit jealous. I've never been to Kitsyland, even though it's so close. Aoko looked up in the direction of the neighboring town. From here, you could just barely make out the Ferris wheel. The round steel frame of the wheel, illuminated by the sunset, as it was reminiscent of an old gravestone.
そうか。それは金銭的な理由で。
That sucks. Is it because you're short on cash? Aoko had to stifle her laughter. She knew it would be rude to Soujyuro to burst out laughing, but the remark tickled her funny bone.
そういうんじゃなくて、
No, it's not like that.
単純にあれが開園してから立て込んでて遊びに行く暇がなかっただけよ。お金で解決する問題だったらそれこそ今すぐに行ってるわ。
It's simple, really. Even back when it first opened, it was always packed with people, and I just never had the time to go. If it were a problem that could be solved with money, I would go right now. Aoko showed Soujyuro the envelope that contained the pay from the church. There was nothing sinister about her remark and gesture, but the fact that she didn't jump at the chance to go made Soujyuro sad.
それなら今度行けばいいじゃないか。
Well, then why don't we go sometime?
ありがとう。けどそれは無理な話。
Thanks, but no can do.
あんたのことだから気づいていないと思うけど、あれ潰れてるのよ。
You probably didn't catch on because you are you, but the place went out of business.
廃園になってからもう2年以上は経つんじゃない？
I think it's been about 2 years since the place closed down.
なんと。
What? It was no wonder there were no customers at the time he was there. Exasperated as she was at Soujyuro, the student council president seemed to be enjoying herself. At this point, she would be yelling things at Soujyuro like, I can't believe you didn't know that. But this evening, this one and only evening, she found it charming. They parted ways, and Soujyuro returned home to his apartment, immersed himself in his studies, and before he knew it was time to go to work. The major cultural difference, though certainly not the only point of difference between city and country, was the use of time. It didn't matter which part of the city he was in, time flowed far too quickly here. Oh, I think we're about to see it. Failing to squeeze even a drop of knowledge from his textbooks, yeah. He put them away for the day before heading home, returning to town. Yeah, he's about to see it. It was so weird. They made such a big deal about him seeing it, but we didn't even got to see it. The night grew deeper as today turned into tomorrow. Soujyuro reversed his collar to protect his neck from the bitter cold and began to make his way back home. Not a soul to be seen. No dogs scrounging for food. No late-night shoppers. And why would there be? The solitary convenience store in the area closed at 11 o'clock. He mustered what little energy he had to take in an especially deep breath. Man-made landmarks line at the deserted street. Garish blue fluorescent light, brighter than the stars above, illuminated the darkness. An unconscious sense of anxiety stirred within.
情けない。夜が怖いのは当たり前じゃないか。
Get it together, man. It's normal for the night to be scary. A chill crept up his spine as he attempted to mask his weakness with words. Stay out of the dark. Stay away from deserted places. Whether it was for some deeper reason or perhaps the fact that he looked so helpless, everybody he had met in his life seemed to warn him with those words.
そうは言ってもしょうがないし。大体。
Did knowing that ever help anyone? What did it even mean, stay out of the dark? Nowhere in the city was without light. Everywhere, from the bustling train station to the remote residential areas, was illuminated by artificial light, at least the main roads. Scary was scary, but this kind of fear was a different sort from what he'd felt in the mountains. The most likely source of his fear was the fact that this place was governed by starkly different rules. The way in which the city meted out justice was terribly imbalanced. And to the provincial Soujyuro, his lack of familiarity with the laws of the land terrified him more than the dark. In the mountains, retribution came swiftly to those who broke the rules. Take a game trail, for example. Those who unwittingly trespassed on the animal kingdom's domain would, as a matter of course, be savaged on by the native wildlife. Accordingly, in Sojuro's mind, an offender paid the price for one's mistakes immediately. It was not a matter of who punished whom, it was simply that the one who broke the rules would meet an instant, tangible retribution. He felt that, in this regard, the laws of the city were far too ambiguous. One could meet their demise without ever knowing whether one was in the right or wrong.
けど基本的には変わらないんだよな多分
Though, I guess it's probably not that different when it comes down to it. To put it simply, retribution was delayed. To take the analogy a step further, back home in his village, no one individual had been given the responsibility of maintaining order. In the city, however, someone was put in charge of punishing lawbreakers on behalf of the kind-hearted citizens who lived there. While crime and punishment in the mountains were synonymous in the city, the two were separated, and an unrelated person brought judgment after the crime had been committed. Entering places that must not be entered. Seeing things that must not be seen. Breaking a law had consequences. Someone could come to exact justice for the law that was broken. The result of all of this was the safest way to survive in the city was not to stick your nose in the affairs of others. When the people who cared about Soujyuro told him to stay away, they probably meant, if you don't, nobody will be able to help you.
といけないまた近道しそうになった
Ah, shit. Let's take another shortcut. No matter how much of a nuisance these obstacles were, one could not just climb over a neighbor's fence, even when one's apartment was just on the other side. If the people inside happened to be awake and called the police, nobody would lift a hand to help them. Huh. With this misguided view of the city, Soujyuro once again ended his day in peace. Unable to fall asleep right away, he gazed out the window upon the night sky and the floor of his apartment. The cityscape had caused him to tremble with fear when he first moved here. The convenience of solving almost any problem with the flip of a switch. The novelty of living a wall away from a complete stranger. It all disappeared in the night sky when he looked up.
こんな空もあるのか
Is this really the same sky? Unconsciously, he recalled his own words. What dim stars. What a cramped sky. Here, there were no starry nights. Could he even survive here? The same misgivings since his first night continued to haunt him. His eyelids fell shut. Although he was fraught with worry, Sojuro's body felt the fatigue from his work and studies, and thus fell fast asleep. Oh, wow. Extra 7 days of spinning red. Interesting. Alright. That was much longer than I thought it was going to be. We'll call this a little mini episode. It's still an hour long, but mini. Oh, hour and a half. Damn. That one thing of 7 days of spinning is about No, because the one that they showed us was this one, I think. Let me see what this was actually. What was this? Yeah, her at the thing. Yeah. Wait, did I read this? 6 pieces. Ah, well. I wonder if the thickness of the books relates to like how long each chapter is. It also looks like there's missing a book right here. And here? The Adventures of the Honey? Honey Adventure. Anyway. To the night, adoration and impatience. Tale of the wolf to the church. Which one is the one where Soujyuro fucking... Okay, it would be over here in Witch on the Holy Night. I was gonna say, which is the one where Soujyuro fucking aura farmed a werewolf to not death, but calmness. Probably blue magic. Caldea. The road home. Oh. And then what happened today? Okay, okay. That's about enough of that. I just finished reading. So okay, so as of today, pre OC3. Okay, hold on. Let me go into this properly. The next, however long this conversation is going to go, because I don't plan for it to be very long, is about Fate Grand Order. And as such, the preparations for OC3, aka fucking what is it? What is it again? I always fucking forget everything as soon as I get on mic. It doesn't matter. I finished. For those who know, I finished OC2 this morning, and this newest summer banner just opened also this morning, so I kind of endeavored to finish up reading OC2. I'd been super far behind for like the longest time. Just because sometimes when it comes to stuff like that, I did actually kind of deprioritize. Oh no, I broke it. Shit. All right, well, that's on me. I did kind of deprioritize reading it just because things happen that way, and other stuff comes up. Pal World came out recently, and so did Grand Blue expansion, which I've been playing both of a lot. Anyway, so I finished OC2, which is the Avengers one. Ordeal Call is what they're called. The Avengers themed one. I was like, oh, god damn it. So fucking good. And I had a lot to say about it. And I prepped myself to say a lot about it. And then I said everything that I wanted to say in my mind like 15 minutes before I started. So that's not going to happen. It's not going to come out. Not without any additional prompting. I would need to like, here's my review of OC2, or this is what I thought, a textual analysis of OC2. Stuff that is kind of interesting to me, but I'm not going to be doing. Well, it would take me much longer than I would. The turnaround would be much longer than I would want it to be. Anyway, man, that's good. You can really tell when Nasu like works on the chapters himself, because like writing stuff, but also like when Ritsuka says something, it'll be like something they say out loud, and then something they're thinking. Yeah. That's also why he's working on this summer event and the last summer event. That's beside the point. What was the point? I don't know. I kind of just wanted to talk about it for a little bit. Man. whatever. I hope you all have a lovely rest of your day, rest of your week. I've already moved on to the outro screen, so we don't really need to work any further towards that. Hope you're all taking care of yourselves, and hope you're all taking care of each other. Find some fucking AC because it's been hot as hell. It has been so fucking hot lately. And like I don't mind heat, honestly. I can take or leave heat. Unfortunately, it seems all of my heat has been building up for like the back half of summer because this is gonna sound so gross. And you can leave now. If anybody wants to leave now, there's only probably like 2, 3, max 5 minutes left in this video. Feel free to leave. But in the meantime, it's so fucking gross. My armpits have not felt dry and comfortable in probably a full week, maybe even more. It is so humid and hot, and no amounts of fans will. It's actually been getting notably hotter where I live. So much so that like last summer I was like desperately scrounging around for some kind of fan to keep me cool. But now it's actually comparatively a little cooler. At least I haven't been scrambling for like some sort of fan yet. Although maybe I should. I'll think about it. Anyway, have a good one, guys. Well, I'll catch you later. Bye.